on and make sure it is on the owl and the owl. Okay.
And we have we're the only participant so far. If anybody shows up, they should log in quick.
Yeah, I would think
It was a
so.
scheduled meeting, so they could have been waiting.
Yeah, they should have been on if they were coming. Ugh. I apologize. Yeah. My son's asking what's for dinner, and apparently I didn't answer fast enough, so he's calling me.
Whatever you're getting for
Tell
us.
them to ask
There's
you.
the answer. Yeah.
19 and in college, but he lives at home while he's going to SUNY Potsdam, so.
Did you write him back and say, well, I don't know, what are you making?
No, I just texted him meeting, and now it's his problem. He's just trying to figure out if he should eat in town because he doesn't want what I'm making.
Ah,
Yeah, he texts me every night, what's for dinner, so he can decide if he eats in town or not.
Whoa, man, oh man, that's a pretty nice.
I know, right? Yes. All right,
Okay.
now you can take attendance.
Okay, so, we'll introduce around. I'm Barry Walsh and I'm, chair of the planning board and been at it for quite some time. You don't even want to look back and see how long, but anyway.
I'm Jenny Gerard, planning board member.
and I'm Kara McLucky, also a planning board member.
Okay,
Edward Bornick,
and which number?
I'm the third.
Okay, because I get confused. There seem to be different ones,
Yeah.
third and fourth, but you're third.
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm Amy Bortnick,
the first.
yes.
Okay.
The one and only. I'm Brooks Kaiser.
And it's your house you're the purchaser of this property to happen or eventually or soon.
Yes.
Good, okay, good. Excellent, all right, so we have, one of the interesting things here is that it's already built, everything's there. As
Right.
far as we know, so that
Okay.
takes a lot of the worry out of this, a lot of the difficulties about how you're gonna subdivide it, etc. However, as we go down through, what we care about the most is being sure that the access to the property is ironclad. That it's quite a long gravel road that comes down.
Yes.
To get to your
Ladybird
house.
Lane.
Yes, and so, Ladybird, bug?
I don't care.
Okay.
We're gonna drive,
Whichever-
Ladybird Lane.
You have
Here.
full right to do it, but anyway, so we wanna be sure that that road, there's an easement that allows you to have that access through that road. In perpetuity, it's gotta be in the deed, but it's in the other deed, it's not yours so much as the deed that belongs to you, actually. This large section up in here, has to have something, an easement for that road, and that's what we need confirmation of somehow. Has that been written in? Do we know that
Yes,
from you?
John, our lawyer's taking care of that.
Good, okay, so that's the key thing, and we want that in the minutes here, so it says, oh yeah, it's been protected. And then they won't say, oh, wait a minute, no, you can't plow in from there, you gotta start over here on the village golf course or something and come in. So that's the key thing, is that we want to be sure that you are protected in that way. Now, it talks about, and we have a nice little drawing here, this is the small version because it came through email, but that's okay. It tells what we need to have, and the surveyors have set the points, they set the corners, and also they know exactly how to describe your
They do own
property.
the right away, the right away is drawn on the map, you can
Yep,
see it there.
see it right there,
Yeah.
and their description of the lot, everybody's happy with, that they know that the surveyors have plotted the corners, and that's written in the new deed, because you need a new deed that Attorney Collins is doing. Yeah, okay. Those are serious things. Now, another, just to put out there, is that, you're on a private sewer and private water there, as far as we understand.
Not private water.
No, is it village water
Yes,
and village sewer too?
no,
No, okay,
Private sewer.
okay, so private sewer. Which is okay, I guess, I don't know how it happened, but it happened, and maybe because it's too low or whatever to have it without extremes, I don't know. But there's 4 acres there, which is big enough to subdivide if you wanted to, but if you did, I think they'd insist on sewer from then on. I mean, that's only just an issue that may not come up to you at all, because you might not be interested in subdividing.
I
beyond the full-
personally am never gonna subdivide
Okay.
1.8
Then,
acres. I don't know what's happening with the other part that's getting
no,
taken off. That's your guys.
yeah, that's it, but
But
as far as
that
you
is-
know, it's just that one piece.
way more than I am interested in handling.
Yep, okay, and the house is really in the middle, so there isn't much room to divide out
Yeah.
anyway, but you never know,
That's why we divided the parcel that way and.
so they
Yeah.
wouldn't, yeah. And, the school was interested, by the way, in coming to this, but they decided if everything's already there,
Yeah.
then what's to change? So that's important to know.
I mean,
Because that is one of the
eventually, when
questions.
I'm 85, I'll sell it to the headmaster of the school and then they can live there and walk to. school.
Sure, sure, that'll be fine. Yeah, anything after that, we just wanna set this up right. Okay, so, going through our list here, that 280-4, all those things. As we go down, all these things are what it should be on this, and indeed they are. The features, water courses and wetlands, we don't have much to worry about. Sewer lines, stormwater drainage, all that is in, the water is in, and it comes through, your drainage is in. Are you connected to storm sewer anywhere?
No,
Okay. So are there any hydrants out there?
You're a mile from the.
From the closest, from the firehouse, yeah. And that helps, they like that for the insurance purposes.
That's why I know.
Yeah, yeah. And here we are at L, conceptual future plans for the parcel. None. Basically, you're saying, I don't see any, and that's good enough. I mean, at this point. If you were actually a contractor, I'd have a different.
I
Question.
have no skills
Yeah.
in that.
Um,
Sometimes use a sander.
Okay, okay.
That's
yeah.
about the extent of
Good.
it. And a drill. I can use a drill to hang pictures.
Okay, so then this last one, other data that must be available for consideration for the rest of the planning board. Anything that we think that we are lacking in setting it up. And again, this is quite simple because it's already done. But now, and it's only this one piece that's being subdivided off. Everything else is staying as it is on the rest of this map. Okay, that's the other important part. And then here's a question about complete streets. Karen Michael Walker,
Light.
she was on the committee. How does this fit in? Because it's no traffic, it's really not even a village road. I
No.
don't think we have any.
It's not, I don't know, I can't speak definitively about whether or not there's any requirement for paving or bike lanes or sidewalks or anything of that nature. I mean, it looks like it's for the private use of the people that are in that.
Yeah.
Are living there, not necessarily a public road per se.
Yep, I agree, it is, it'll be a private road, it'll be Ladybird Lane Road or whatever, Lady Club, PVT.
First time.
Yeah, you can put PVT too for that private road, up to you, but, so, yes, I would agree with,
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to
Yeah.
send over to the task force.
no, there isn't that, and so then now I'm moving down to 288-8, action. Oh, yes, okay, so we have to do the seeker, this is the, state, short, that's what the best part is, environmental assessment form. So, I know this, and I'm gonna do subdivision, so we have that, see, app. Okay, divide off. So, let's see. Does this proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan or whatever? The answer is no. Whatever it is no. That's ridiculous. It's not, we're not asking for law here. Does it require a permit or approval from a funding agency or anything else, government agency? We don't require a permit for this. What you've done, you're already ahead. In other words, there's no water claim moving permit, there's no anything like that. What we want is negative this thing and when we're done here. So that's the important part. Total acreage, 4.93, is it? The new piece?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Total acreage to be physically disturbed, I'm gonna put 0, because there's no change in anything, you're not building or anything like that, you're doing this. And then the rest of this property, what would you guess you own for the rest of that big section? Is that like, oh, here it is, 10.6.
Right.
Yep, okay, 10.6.
0.61.
Yep.
Even.
And that's right to the 100th, which is in the direct. How do you figure to the 100th of an acre? Come on, it's this big. But anyway, you did a good job. Oh yeah, some of the stuff gets silly. And I'm the one who sees when it's silly too. All right, let's see. So residential is pretty much all we have, but we also have a little bit of, it's all residential all around except for educational, other.
Right.
High school. Fields. And they aren't even the fields, it's the woods that come down to that, but they still own right up to it apparently, the central school. Okay, is it permitted using this? Yes, it is. Yeah, okay, well, those are all right to be yeses. And it's certainly within the character as it provides action located in or doesn't join a state critical environmental area. I can't imagine
That's
anything that's
Arizona.
critical around there, so this is a no right here. Is it gonna create a substantial increase in traffic? No. Are the public services, no, pedestrian, no. Does it meet or exceeds state energy code? Not applicable, I'm gonna put that. For that one, will the proposed action connect to an existing public or private? If no, well, so I'm gonna put yes, and it's, well, yes, it is. It's connected to wastewater, yes, it is. No. Well, actually, existing wastewater utility is your own septic.
So yes.
No, it's
I believe
utility.
it's a utility.
Yes, a true utility, okay, so I'm gonna change this to no. And method for providing wastewater treatment is private septic system. Good stuff. Okay, does it contain an archaeological site? I don't think so.
I mean, I am getting old, but
And is the project site located in an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites? No, same thing, same question asked twice. Does any portion of the site of the proposed action or lands adjoining it contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by a federal, state, or local agency? No, it's like wet, but it's not wetland controlled. There's no, I'm quite sure that Tim has already checked the maps there. Are we gonna change anything with the water? No.
And I just to make sure that I know what's going on here, the village property or the village of Canton property that is along this remnant wire fence along this boundary on the right-hand side of the drawing,
Yeah,
is
that one here.
that doesn't, this property doesn't abut to the water treatment Remington Rec Trail area, does it? I don't think
It touches the trail right on that far, on the little corner.
Oh, way up top.
Yeah, that's right, but
Where
back
the
here,
where the
it's
iron
not.
post is or whatever they
It's
call it.
gone out around.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
not where the division is.
Yeah.
It's on the other piece, it's already there, affected.
Yep.
So that's not relevant
The
then.
bike
I
trail
think,
approaches on the property actually by a few feet.
say that again,
The bike trail approaches on my property by about a foot.
but we wouldn't need to worry about that with the permit and all that,
Correct,
because it's a municipal water facility.
right.
Okay, so it's not.
Because it's far enough away. It's not, if it were a river, that's when we get into trouble. If there's
Okay.
rivers or
I mean,
lakes or
like-
anything, then the county has to get involved. Because this is New York, that's why.
Okay, no, good.
Don't put that in there.
It's on the recording, Barry.
Yes, that's a good, okay, well, good.
Like very.
Wake up, we're having an election, maybe we could get things straightened out, so could be shorter here, but anyway. So yes, I don't believe that is right on the water treatment plant.
Okay. Sounds good.
Cause there should be golf course around that at some point, yeah.
Should be buffered, yeah.
So let's see, typical habitat types that occur like we found in this, it is suburban. It's mowed lawns, basically, and then space. Any associated habitats? No. Located on your floodplain? No. Otherwise you couldn't have the houses already. Will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? No, you collect them on your own, don't you? Yeah. Will stormwater discharge flow? No. Will discharge to conveyance systems, runoff and storm drains? No. Does this action include construction or other activities that would result in the impoundment of water or other liquids, like a waste lagoon? I don't think so. Has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? They've been throwing tires down there for years. But no. Has the site of the proposed action or enjoyment been the subject of remediation for hazardous waste? I can't imagine done any of that. Okay. Good. Then I will sign that one and get more of the actual correct stuff written in there. So I don't see anything why that would not be an acceptable seeker. That's a negative declaration. There are some positive answers, but they're supposed to be positive. But right in there about, is this permitted? Yes, residential is always permitted and consistent with our comprehensive plan, which is to promote single and multiple family housing in this village. So it's very consistent with that. Those are the things. Yes.
Just from a secretarial point of view, isn't there a second part to
So,
the short form?
so what it is it's two versions that they're two copies of the same thing. The applicant fills out one and then we fill out the very same one. And why we fill out that?
No, the actual part two, that's the actual declaration. I only
Yeah.
say that from having dealt with the town board having to do these, the
Okay.
town planning.
So maybe,
There might be an extra form you need to
no,
fill out.
but it's beyond this. I mean, it's outside the meeting then. You think, or you think there's more on it?
I think,
I think it's, I've done that double one, but I haven't done the other way.
But are they
Um,
the same space? No, the tower.
Hmm.
outside.
if you give me one second.
Sure,
I can
take all
look it
that
up.
you want.
Yeah.
Because I've learned, listen to her.
Sorry, I just brought it up here.
It's all right.
Let me put it on my other screen so I can actually look it up. Down here. I can't type looking over my shoulder.
I can't type if I'm sitting.
New York State, SEQR, the work form. That's the work for the book, that's part one. Let me look at the work.
Just like Brady's drawing over here.
Part one provides details, part two or, okay, part one. It has three parts.
Hmm,
First of all, is this an unlisted action?
yes,
Okay. It has three parts. The first part is filled out by the applicant or sponsor. That's filled out by them.
Mhm.
Part two and three are filled out by the lead agency.
So in ours code, it says the planning board initiates it. Which doesn't agree with seeker rule,
Right.
with the new seeker rule, if it's new.
The lead agency would be
Us.
usually the planning board or the village board in some cases, or the board that applies.
Right,
The lead agency, I don't know if it has to be done during a meeting. I'd have to research more. But, the introductory pages, I do know that the part two is the actual impact assessment,
Mm,
where you go through and take a look at
What
their
they put down.
answers and compare to what New York State says and say whether you think that they're right or not.
mhm.
And then no, part three is where you say, yes, this is a a negative declaration, or it's a positive declaration.
Okay,
So that's the three pieces.
all right, so I did your first piece. This is essentially your application.
Yes.
You you will sign it down here. I've written these things out. And, so now, Michael, right? Michael Gordon. Edward, sorry. So. It saved you that much lawyer time. So, yeah, and you can look that over if you'd like to, and you see on the second picture. you don't have to get them. Yeah, because sometimes they bring it with them
Right,
when it's like the, who was it? It was big time. We're gonna believe you.
It sounds like you have some confirmation already.
Yeah, well, from the fact that the buildings are already there, so we know that probably this was the, but it may not have been done at all because this is a newer. I don't know, they have to spend more time thinking it up. So. Now we got to the point, does anybody on the committee feel uncomfortable about anything that we've talked about that you would like to see done differently or change or approach from a different point of view?
Just
Some people
as a point
offer,
of clarification.
Yes, yes.
So that I'm sure that I'm reading this right. 280-10, D on storm drainage facilities. D2. Subletter B. The NYS DEC is reducing the impact of stormwater runoff from new development. Because this is a subdivision of already existing buildings, there's no concern about impervious surfaces and water flow. Am I correct in saying that there's no concern about that because this is already, all the buildings already existed on these properties?
right,
Okay,
yep,
that's
that,
all.
and,
No,
because
there's no new construction.
right, yes, that's right, and there's been no incident that would say, oh, look, they flood.
Right.
If that had been happening, then there would be some sort of pressure at this point.
There's been no incident. This would be a good test year.
yeah.
Yes,
Far so
that's right.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you did better than the village did, you did okay. That's right. Okay, so, and we're not doing preservation space and stuff like that.
Okay, good.
Although there's an awful lot of open space here, isn't there? This great big piece in the middle
Yeah,
is,
but then maybe I can get something better, somebody to pay me, like Nature Conservancy.
there you go, there you go. Yep, okay. And you folks are holding on to the rest of it? Yeah, okay. The third, good, all right. So I would entertain a motion. I think the way we finish it is we have to say public acceptance now, because there's no transfer of ownership of anything. You're not selling your road to the village or anything, giving it to them. No, so I guess if we have no reluctance and, one can move and the other can second it. Go ahead. Who wants the glory?
I move we accept
Yeah,
the subdivision site plan.
I second that.
okay. And since we don't have any other majority to vote with, that's it. So I would say that this, so the, I don't know who actually identifies this property. I went to the, county clerk to see how do we notify them? And they said, well, it's gonna be on the tax map. So I don't know if the assessor is going to then look at this little piece and decide what it's worth. I don't know how that split off happens, but it's not us. I imagine it's the village.
The village, thanks.
Yeah, the village assessor. Somebody has to decide how much that tax piece is gonna be so that you can pay your portion of it at the time it changes hands. And that is outside of us, but I guess the assessor. That would be where I would start.
I believe it is
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
assessor.
They weren't, because at the county, they said, well, when the tax map comes with the taxes paid, then we know you're serious and then move in. So I think that's the next step is to Because then, Silver and Collins are able to finish up that deed and file it quickly.
Before or after the tax map thing?
I think, well, he has to know what to call it. He has to know how to, every one of them too, has like, yeah, it's gonna have, there's these various numbers when you look at it, this T/P 74.004 dash something or other. And
There is a number in the.
so that may be the thing,
Who assigns the
six
number?
dash
County?
six, I think it's gonna be the local assessor. The
Does
one,
the assessor assign the actual ID numbers or does the county
County
assign
does it.
the
maybe they assign the
numbers?
number, but they wanna see it.
I believe the county assigns the numbers and the assessor just determines the value.
Okay.
I think you can proceed once they assign the numbers. I think our lawyer can proceed. I don't think that they need to have.
You don't have to have the
assessor-
assessment
no,
done
The
yet.
assessor's gonna figure out what it is at some point. I
It's
don't think they
once
need to
the
be
value-
involved in it. I
yeah,
think-
once
I think
the
just
purchase
county
is
needs your
complete.
approval, and then once the county has your approval, I think John can proceed.
I think that,
believe
yeah,
so.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
That's what.
good, that would, yeah,
And you
that
can
would
do
speed things up, no question. Okay. Good, okay, so,
Oh,
I don't
oh,
know,
no, there's.
we, turn over to Tim,
Did you receive any public comment?
no public comment, nothing came to me, nobody came to the meeting. People asked about whether they should come, I told them what was going on, they didn't show. So, okay. Maybe I shouldn't have
didn't
told
know
them
that
about
we
we're
were
gonna
gonna
beat out,
be
meet outdoors in the
Assessing
cold and rain.
names for the lake.
Yeah, well, that, I'm sorry, you're on your own for that one, I would be very boring on titles. You could.
That's not boring.
Somebody else on.
But will you send the letter to the county, or does Tim send a letter to the county?
So Tim, I think, will notify Collins
Okay,
and,
with an approval
right,
in
yeah,
writing.
and then he would like to take it to the county and file it.
Right. I got it.
I
So
just
will
had it,
that go to John soon?
yes, what's today, Monday? Tim should be here tomorrow,
Tim will be here tomorrow.
so he should be able to notify him just that way.
Okay.
And, as far as I know, I can't see any reason why this wouldn't be perfectly all right, just like this. We don't do this very often because all the land's been divided in this village, almost. But it's coming up. We got another one who's not so easily, compliant as you, but now we know.
Do you need to provide? Actually, you should probably do an action form
Uh-huh.
for, I'll
Yeah,
give you one
yeah.
before we leave, or I'll email it to you before I go. Fill that out
and that'll go
tonight
to Tim.
And
He'll
email
have
it to
for official
Tim,
thing.
so, and I'll remind him in the morning,
That'd be perfect.
so that he'll have a piece of paper
Mhm.
to remind him
It
to
came
take
from us,
care of
that's the
it.
official transmittal, yes.
Yes.
I shall function.
Yep.
Cause I know you're interested in getting this done.
Cause I keep thinking, okay, so we made the decision, but Tim needs something in writing
Right.
from the planning board
Hey,
saying
Tim, go
the
ahead.
decision's done.
Yep, good.
Yes,
Will do.
Yep.
Excellent, okay.
okay.
Yeah, all right, you can keep this if you want. All right, so I think that's the best we can do, or all we have to do here, and I'll do the rest. And this one, I'll make a new one for us that we looked at, part two, and we'll have this here, I'll put that in one. Thank you ever so much.
And I can.
How's the babies?
Okay. Yeah, you kept me that in.
You should probably take a motion to adjourn.
Do we have any minutes to ever approve?
Right.
I don't think so, I think we're done with that.
We're all caught up, I believe.
That's what happens when you're mostly inactive.
Yeah.
So yes, motion to adjourn.
That's the one.
Okay. Here we go.
Second.
Second, all right, and third. Thank you so much for.
Learned at 4:41?
You can, I do have a.
But
I
they're,
do have
they're,
a-
Okay,
Thank you.
Second.
you're ever so welcome. Sorry it took so long,
That's-
but this is the way our things grind around here.
4:41.
No, are you moving away? Are you gonna leave? the
No,
area?
no, just to decal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's the suburbs. Yep.
So the name was Edward.
I think I'll-
Okay, I had Evan for some reason. I just
Yeah,
heard
no,
you
totally
wrong.
will.
Edward. Got it.
I go by Chip, but I
Chip.
came to say
That's fine.
I'm the third, so my mother called me Chip.
Gotcha, gotcha, that's cute, actually.
That's good to know too, cause that, Tim always talks about Chip,
Yes,
so then,
and my son Eddie
Oh,
So
okay.
He's building, well, he helped build apartments that are on that same lot.
Definitely,
And he
like the
actually
water thing.
bought a
that you
piece of
decided
property in
on
the
was
Sykes
the
Road
access
recently too. He's
to
going to
just
go.
Like
Oh,
if you're.
yes.
just,
Oh,
you know,
Sykes Road.
return.
Yeah.
There is some, oh, that's out of the village anyway.
Yeah, it's outside the building.
Yeah. Yep.
It hasn't started.
All
pumping.
right.
Oh, that's good.
And
So,
there
but
it
there
is.
was one other one that could have been